Alright, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect. Alright, the name of this lesson is Few Shall Be Saved, and the rest destroyed. Okay, which that few there is the elect, out of the nation of Israel, the one-third, the ones who, listen to the prophets, the men of the Lord, and who repented, and became, converted to this truth, the ones who really, studied this truth, and who enduring, you know, okay, and the rest going to be destroyed is the two-thirds, the non-elect. All right, them wasn't taking the word seriously, okay. um them gonna be destroyed. All right, let's get a precept here. So I cancel. Let's get the book of Second Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 1. All right. It says, and he said, Slakia, and he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. All right, which is the kingdom. All right, the new righteous world. All right. I will tell thee a similitude, Ezras, as when thou askest the earth, it shall say unto thee that it giveth much mould, whereof earthen vessels are made, but little dust that gold cometh of. Even so is the course of this present world. All right. Verse 3, there be many created, but few shall be saved. All right, the few is the elect. All right, what gonna be saved, not the whole, not the whole of Israel, gonna be saved, just only the elect, okay. Okay, them two-thirds, the wicked of our people, the wicked jakes around the world, because they mock, they scoff at the prophets. They didn't really, take this word seriously. They're gonna be destroyed. All right, the Lord gonna destroy them. All right, let's get this. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 13. It's lucky, I don't know. Let's just pop up dismiss. This is Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. It says, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, and the third shall be left therein. The 2 parts is the two-thirds of our people Israel, the wicked of our people, they're gonna be destroyed. And the third, which is left, is the elect, the 1/3 of Israel. All right, verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried, and they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is my power. All right, which is the gold is tried, the gold being put in the fire. That's the fiery trials, the hardness, what the Lord will putting through, put the elect through, you know, putting the elect through, and okay. So the elect is the ones who will cleave to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and will endure, the fire, all right, the hardness, what the Lord put them through, to make them pure, all right. Let's get a quick precept just to back that up. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1. We start verse 1. It says, My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right, set thy heart aright and constantly endure. All right, and that's what the elect will be doing. And we had to have that mindset, And make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him. All right, that's what the elect will be doing. Cleaving unto the Lord, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou change at a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right? Okay, the acceptable men, the elect, are the chosen, who the Lord chose out of this world, And this is what we have to endure, endure the hardness what the Lord put in us through, and cleave unto the Lord and endure unto the end, and Lord's willing, we become members, of the elect, all right? Okay, all right, let's see, and this is what the Lord's elect is doing, endure unto the end, and that's why the Lord gonna have that reward for them, all right? Meanwhile, these 2/3, they ain't taking this world seriously. They partying, indulging in the world and worldly things. Right now, December here, you see they setting up for Christmas. That's what them studying. Them studying the salvation. Okay, not taking this word seriously. It's because the Lord blind them to this word. Okay. This is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. All right. Okay. Verse 8. According as it is written, power hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. All right. That's what the Lord put over them. The Lord blinding them from this truth. Because they're not worthy of it. All right. Okay. They didn't even consider this. Let's get that. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3, it says, The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. All right, I, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters, they have forsaken Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward. All right, so that's why the Lord not gonna allow them to receive this truth, because they didn't take heed, to what the prophet's saying. They don't want to ask no questions, nothing. They don't want nothing to do with this truth. Let's go into that word consider. Consider. It's the word here.
Strong's H995. Bean. Bean.
Bean. All right, this is the outline of biblical usage. It says to discern, understand, consider. All right, to perceive, discern, to understand, know with the mind, to observe, mark, give heed to. Distinguish, consider. They don't want to give heed to this word. They don't want to understand it. Okay. To have discernment, insight, understand. They don't want to understand it. That's why Lord, they don't want nothing to do with this truth. That's why Lord gonna you know put that cover, put the blinded them to this word. Let's get this Matthew. Let's get Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1. Start verse 1. It says, Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. All right, and 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. The 5 were wise is the elect, and the 5 were foolish is the 2/3. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. Probably they know they're Israelite thing, but that's all they take in. They don't want the understanding of this word. Okay, so like verse 4 it says, But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Alright. Okay, they took the oil, the elect, take the understanding of this truth. They get heed to this truth. They study the word. Verse 5, while the bridegroom tarried, which the bridegroom is Yahushai, it says they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh. All right, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. All right. Okay, so them didn't take the word seriously. So when Yahushua comes now, they're gonna be destroyed. Okay, but the elect took this word, seriously. All right. Okay. You know, um, let's get this. This is Revelation chapter 7, verse 14. It says, And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said unto me, These are they which came out of the great tribulation, the elect, which endure hardship, the Lord put them through, and have, the fire, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb, which is the Yahushai. Say elect is the one who, took this, truth, seriously, who study it, who repent, and became converted to this truth, All right, so that's it. See, the Lord gonna destroy them. All right, the Lord gonna destroy them. Okay. Because they didn't take this word seriously. Let's get this Isaiah. This is Isaiah chapter 56 and verse 11. So like this Isaiah 66, so like in verse 15. It says, "For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many." Okay? That's what they get. They're gonna get them missiles, they're gonna get destroyed, in America, Babylon the Great. It's either if they would get, a laser beam from the chariots, or, a missile. Alright? Okay, let's get this. Ezekiel chapter 22. Chapter 22, Slakia, and verse 19. It says, "Therefore thus saith Yahweh, power, because ye are all Slakia, because ye are all become dross, and behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in my anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. Yea, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof." Right, that's all you 2/3. Alright, you're gonna be melted. Alright, verse 22, it says, "As silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted." Slack here, I'm just